It's horrible when a family member passes away. We have to deal with the emotional grief, and at the same time we have to go through their worldly possessions to sort them out. But what if we find something truly horrific when we do that? What if that beloved family member was a wolf hiding amongst a sheep herd? That is exactly what happened in a small town in Germany. Let's talk about it. Manfred S lived a quiet life in a small town called Schwalbach in Germany. As members of his community later recounted, he was a family man and a passionate musician. In August of 2014, Manfred passed away, and was left up to his daughter to go through his things and sort them out. That included a garage the 68-year-old had rented years ago and used as storage. So in September, the daughter, who will remain anonymous, and her boyfriend started cleaning the garage out. Most of the things were tools and some trash, but they also found something else: 2 large blue barrels. As the daughter later told police, nothing smelled weird and there were no flies in the garage, but when she and her husband opened the first barrel, a stench so foul that she had to vomit came out of it. When she looked into the barrel, she saw decomposing body parts. This find would change the small town forever and finally help police solve the horrendous crimes of a serial killer. Manfred Seel was an only child, born on the 30th of October in Königstein, a town in West Germany. His life seemed orderly. He finished school, he got a job, and he even served 2 years in the German army. After his service, he went back to his job as a printer. His workplace was close to a church foundation. This is where he would later meet 2 of his victims, Gudrun Ebel and Hatice Reclus. In 1973, he got married, and with his wife, he would have his only child, the before-mentioned daughter. His wife died in 2013. From 1985 to 2014, he played in a local jazz band. His neighbors later told police that he was friendly, but he did occasionally have aggressive fits. We know from witnesses that Manfred started visiting street prostitutes in Frankfurt in the 1990s. He attacked at least 1 prostitute so severely there that she called a help hotline, but they told her that the police wouldn't do anything anyway. We also know that he went to rehab for his excessive alcoholism at the same time. But this is pretty much everything anyone knew about Manfred. Until that fateful day in 2014, when his daughter discovered his darkest secret. Shortly after the find, the police work group Alaska was started. Their job, to this day, is to find out who and when Manfred killed. The name, by the way, comes from Manfred's favorite place, Alaska, and the fact that even in summer he wore thick coats. The police isn't sure who exactly Seel's victims are, or even who his first victim was, but these are the women that the police are pretty sure he murdered. Gudrun Ebel was only 19 years old in February of 1971. The young woman was working as a cleaner in a retirement home. Her body was found February 6th. She was dumped in a garden shed. Police noted that she showed signs of having fallen into the hands of a sadist. Manfred had opened her stomach and took her uterus out, which was of course never found. This tick he had of taking souvenirs would give Manfred his later name, the Hessen Ripper, or the Jack the Ripper of Germany. Manfred's second victim was a work colleague of Gudrun, 23-year-old Hatice Reclus. Both women worked together in a retirement home that the local church was financing. Hatice's body was found in April, shortly after she disappeared. Where Manfred met both women is unclear. All the police know is that he worked close to the retirement home. Hatice was attacked on Camberger Bridge. Manfred smashed her face in, and then mutilated her genitalia. Once more, the police at the time noted that she must have been killed by a sadist. But no one had made the connection to Manfred at this time. Now we're gonna do a massive time jump. It's mostly the time in between the first 2 and the other murders that concern police and make them believe that he killed many more people that they don't know about. It's June 1991 when 36-year-old Gisela Singh disappeared. The mother of one worked as a prostitute, was addicted to heroin, homeless, and HIV positive. Her body was discovered 14 days later, on the parking spot of a local forest. The day she had disappeared, Gisela had found out that her HIV infection was progressing fast and aggressive. Her handbag only had 3 things in it: an empty pill package, a syringe, and a train ticket to Frankfurt, which was stamped for the day of her disappearance. Unfortunately, the police at the time looked into drug drivers and another suitor of hers. It was only when the blue barrels were found that the police found out that Manfred was also one of her many clients at the time. Manfred strangulated her first with an unknown object, and then with his own hands. Her stomach had multiple cut marks. Unfortunately, her body was already badly decomposed when she was found, and her head had started to skeletonize. On the 3rd of December 1993, 32-year-old Dominique Monrose disappeared. Just like Gisela, she was a homeless, prostitute, and HIV positive. Police think she died the same day she went missing. Her torso was found in a garbage bag on a country road. Her head had been cut off with a knife. The rest of her body parts were found in garbage bags scattered along a highway. Police assumed, and still does, that her body was kept in a fridge for at least 10 days, during which her killer cut her up. In July of 1996, a walker found a decapitated head of 27-year-old Pia Isabel Haim. She was not a prostitute, but worked in a bank. But she was suffering from very bad schizophrenia. She's one of the women on this list where police aren't sure if she was one of Manfred's victims. In July of 1998, Julie Anna Schröder disappeared. The only 18-year-old was working as a prostitute. All we know is that the people that saw her the day she disappeared, she seemed really sick. Her body was never found. but Manfred had been seen with her. And then we get to his apparently last victim. Britta Simone Diallo was 43 years old in 2004. She too was a prostitute, and as people later told police, Manfred was a regular suitor of hers. He even helped her clean out her apartment at one point. The last time she was seen alive was in autumn of 2003. It was her body that Seel's daughter found in those barrels. While she was already badly decomposed, forensics could still tell that she had been massively tortured before her death. Even more disturbing, police found images on Seel's computer from a manga in which a girl is tortured. And what happened in that manga matches up exactly with what Manfred did to Julie. Even more disturbing, they aren't sure that she was dead when Manfred sawed off her hands and feet. Her body also showed multiple stab and cut wounds. And they found 8 nails in her knee, her hip, her breast, and her vagina. The profilers that were called in are absolutely sure that she wasn't his only victim, and they even said that this seemed like the last hurrah for this deranged monster. A lot of her wounds matched up with the victims above. That's why the police is about 90% sure all of the women above are his victims. Now, it's important to mention that if you look this case up, you will notice another victim pop up. A 13-year-old boy by the name of Tristan, who also disappeared in Frankfurt, close to where Manfred visited the prostitutes. But they now found fingerprints, so it makes it very unlikely that Manfred killed the boy. And he really wouldn't fit into his usual victim list. I'll definitely make a video about Tristan soon, because his killer is still at large, and what was done to the boy is unfathomable. As I said, the police is still working on figuring out who and how many victims Manfred really had. His preferred victims, prostitutes, unfortunately means that there are many suspects and a lot of unusable DNA. And even more unfortunate, the police never managed to get Manfred's fingerprints. They did try to get him off his personal belongings, but it always failed. The police also isn't sure if he had a helper, and is still looking into that. And they also believe that he had another secret hideout where he kept the souvenirs of his crimes. So what do you think? Did he only kill that one woman whose body was in the barrels? Or is he a serial killer? Let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to give this video a like and to subscribe, and hope to see you again in my next video.